It's Wednesday, November 10th, 2010, and this is a busy week for Bon Jovi. Coming off the first leg of their massive #1 world tour, the Circle Tour, the band is in New York City to play a rare, small, intimate show from the Best Buy Theater in Times Square. The show will be a live global broadcast on YouTube. 2 days prior, Bon Jovi released a feature film of a concert they performed at the opening of the new Meadowlands Stadium in their home state of New Jersey. The film played in thousands of theaters in over 20 countries and will premiere on the Epix network in January. Yesterday, the band just released their latest Greatest Hits Ultimate Collection, which contains 4 new songs. The first single, What Do You Got, is a worldwide hit, and the accompanying music video was shot in 3D. Later in the week, tickets for the second leg of the Circle Tour go on sale. There is no denying this is one hard-working band. For over 28 years, Bon Jovi have successfully continued to evolve and redefine themselves. They continue to leave their critics and fans wondering, what's next? With the wind at our side, we have arrived.
The songs on the Greatest Hits are very different from the songs that appear in the Circle. And let me take you back a couple of years. You see, the Greatest Hits was a commitment. It wasn't a creative crossroad that we came to and said, let us summarize the last 25 years in this package. What happened was I called the CEO of the record company and I says, I'm going to Nashville to make a country record. And there was a long silence. And he says, I guess at this point in your career, you could pretty much do what you'd like. But when you're done losing millions of my dollars, would you give me a Greatest Hits? I said, we got a deal. Went down to Nashville. We made Lost Highway. I should have described it as a Nashville-influenced Bon Jovi record. It was much more successful than any of us had anticipated, yet I wanted to fulfill the commitment of this Greatest Hits. So in fact, the world's economies taking the tumble that they did, the president's being elected as he was, the songs we were going to write for a Greatest Hits were not what were coming off of the pen and onto the paper. And so I again called the CEO of the company and I said, you know that Greatest Hits we talked about? And he said, yeah. I says, I've got a bunch of songs here, We Weren't Born to Follow, When We Were Beautiful, Work for the Working Man, that aren't befitting a Greatest Hits. And again, God bless him, he agreed and he said, I always feel that an artist should stay timely and not hold a song like When We Were Beautiful or Born to Follow for 2 years because perhaps no one would understand what you were writing about. So we released The Circle a year ago, #1 record around the world. Tours, if not the biggest tour, it'll be the top 2 or 3 in the world. And we're well, halfway, depending on who you ask, through the tour at this point. And I said, here comes the Greatest Hits. So now we have to sit and give them a couple of new songs for 2 reasons. One, the fan base, who are rabid sometimes, they're wonderfully rabid, have this catalog of material. So you want to give them really something special. So we sat down to write them songs thinking of each of these songs like being guests at a party, being invited to a place and to celebrate when and where they were. And these other songs, or however many we were going to write, were going to be invited to this joyous place.
What do you got? You ain't got love. Whatever you got, it just ain't enough. You walk in a road, but you're going nowhere, trying to find your way home.
Well, you know what? On the Circle, there wasn't a lot of songs that were kind of love songs per se. So I think we decided that, you know, maybe we're going to kind of write about love a little bit, but not really. More about maybe the aesthetic of what love is. There's a bit of profundity in What Do You Got When You Ain't Got Love that is more of like a worldly thing. It doesn't have to be exactly about romance. It leaves, the lyric kind of leaves you up to, you know, it could be a, you know, with your family, with your daughter or son, or, you know what I mean? It's like, basically it's like, what do you got if you ain't got love? It's a very profound statement in its simplicity. So I think that's where that song particularly came from.
Oh, it's gonna be alright. This is love, this is life. When time
This is love, this is life. It started out, this ain't love, this is life. It had a kind of a pessimistic twist to it. More or less like, you know, about the survival of a relationship that has been enduring for years and trying to find that spark and realizing that it takes work to keep love alive inside a relationship.
Subject matter, like I said, being participants in this party, were the songs No Apologies and The More Things Change, the More They Stay the Same.
No apology, no apology, no apology. We will not back down. No apology.
No Apologies and The More Things Change, the More They Stay the Same were written on a break in my bathroom. I happen to have a very large bathroom and it's got a lot of tile to it. And that's where I like to rehearse when I, you know, because it just sounds so great in there, man. So I always have my amps and my guitars kind of like situated, believe it or not, in my bathroom. And John and I actually wrote those songs in my bathroom. And No Apologies, it's kind of like a song that we were saying like, hey man, just be yourself. There's no apologies about it, you know. We want what we want. That's kind of thing, and I think that transfers to everybody. At one point, you just get fed up and go, hey, look, this is who I am. I can't apologize for it. You either accept me or tell me to, you know.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. The same sunrise is just another day. If you're hanging long enough, they say you're coming back. Just take a look, we're living proof, and baby, that's a fact. You know.
The More Things Change, the More They Stay the Same was it's a bit of a poke at what's going on in the record business now and how it has changed, but basically it's kind of still the same shit. And but it also translates. It's kind of a metaphor for and a microcosm for kind of what's happening. I think for anybody's life, you know, it's like it's not that different when you come down to it. We're all just a bunch of people going through the same stuff. So, you know, so those are what the songs are about. And these four songs, you know, probably wouldn't have fit on The Circle. The Circle was kind of more of a socially conscious record.
For the new kids, the new generation that we keep finding, the kids that are finding Live It On a Prayer because of Glee and Rock Band and these kind of things, this is a great introductory course. So we made sure that this Greatest Hits, though it's been delivered late, was really delivered with care. Our reputation was built being a live band. So in this club atmosphere tonight, I don't doubt for a moment that the band will move the room. We don't need any video reinforcement. We don't have any fancy lights. There's no background singers. There's no horns. There's none of that. This is a band that plays live and sweats. But when we play the massive stadiums and we're aware that people have their hard-earned money at stake here, they want something that for production value is going to be second to none. It's going to be that cutting-edge technology. It's going to make the guy 100 yards away and 200 feet up in the air in the furthest reaches of a stadium feel like he's right here.
So our philosophy is, I think that what we try to do is really kind of bring the stadium in to us.
Well, I mean, I definitely think we've pushed the envelope in many ways. I mean, our arena tour, you know, we had robots. We had moving video screens that moved left, right, up, down. I mean, you know, there's a lot more of it. You know, the band, and especially John, you know, always pushes Spike, who's our designer, to, you know, come up with the next best thing.
I mean, the great thing about working with John is, you know, you're able to just do massive shows, and you're allowed a great creative freedom, and you're able to do things that have never been done before, which is always exciting.
I think every year people come to the show and are amazed because that's why they come back, you know. That's why they want to see Bon Jovi show, because they know, you know, besides the music, that they actually get a production that's, you know, worth coming back to see every year.
We've learned how to make a stadium an intimate place, and you got to be careful because sometimes technology can dwarf you. You can have too much stuff, and people aren't paying attention to the band, and they're paying attention to the technology.
It's always the core about the music and the musician. Sometimes a production can be so big that it overpowers the band. So I think it's anything that enhances what we do on stage. But you like to see the new bells and whistles and 3D TVs and all the good tricks. It's cool. But it also can be the enemy. I've seen some other productions that are so big that you're looking at this thing instead of looking at the band. We always can tell if the screens are too big or something's wrong. You know, when people are this far away and they're looking up there, you're like, I'm here. You can tell that's you.